And we've taken all the different aspects that go with any sort of weight loss program or lifestyle changing program that you come to expect, and we really packaged them into a simple, easy to follow format, but that is also very personalized. The great thing about this program is that it is personalized, so we're not trying to force you guys into one kind of mold, one specific thing, and have you all follow the same plan. We're going to break this down for you, and we're going to make alternatives, and we're going to make choices that you guys agree on, because that's important in a plan like this. Is you have to agree on it. It has to be something you want to do. You don't want to feel like you're forced, because when you feel like you're forced, then you get frustrated and you don't follow through with the plan. So we're really excited, and I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. So the first thing we need to talk about is why you're really here. I'm sure some of you thought about this before you came in on your drive-in. Why am I going to this presentation at 7 o'clock on a Monday night in January when it's freezing, and it's going to be freezing rain in about 3 hours? So I'm sure a lot of you wonder, what am I doing here? Well, that's an important question, because you have to know where you're starting in order to make a plan to go from point A to point B. If you don't have a good idea of where you're at right now, what your problem is, or why you've struggled with weight loss, or struggled with trying to lose weight, or gone up and down in weight, if you don't know where you're starting, you don't really know where you're going. So you have to know why you're really here. And I want you guys to think a little bit about that as we go through, because if you don't know exactly now, hopefully by the time we're all done here, you're going to know why you're here and what you need to do going forward. So, what does your weight cost you? What is your lifestyle, or your eating habits, or your current weight, or your physical activity? What is it costing you? How could your life be better, really, if you were to maybe lose your goal amount of weight, or get that level of fitness activity that you want? Are you unhappy because of maybe your weight, or anything that you're doing? Is it affecting your career, your relationships? Maybe it goes as far as affecting, your intimacy with your spouse, anything like that. These are things we have to think about and understand when we start into a weight loss program. So what is your weight costing you? Do you lack the confidence to go for your dreams? I know that's kind of a bold statement, but really, a lot of times we let these things affect us, and we let them keep us from doing certain things, and sometimes we don't even realize that. Are you ignoring certain aspects of your life? This is a big one. Is your weight causing you to do things differently, is really what this is saying. Maybe you didn't even realize that, the way you felt about yourself, your self-consciousness, or maybe your anxiety was affecting the way you do certain things in life. Maybe you've changed now because of, how much you feel like you weigh, or the way you look. How does your health hold you back in all these areas? How is your health holding you back in these different areas of life? What I want to do now, in your folder there, I don't know if you all have gone through your folder, you've got a number of papers. At the top, there's one that says SoderWorld and Back in Balance Weight Loss Program. Hello. And it's got 4 questions with a series of lines. You all should have a pen in there somewhere too. So what I want you to do at the top, I want you to just take 60 seconds, and I want you to write down, what your weight or lifestyle or eating habits might be costing you, and this could be anything from, how it's affecting your daily life to, how it's costing you in your health, anything you can think of, because again, it's important that we have a starting point in order so we can go forward and really make a plan to live healthier. So we've got about 60 seconds. I'm going to write some things down as well, and then we're going to talk about this. All right? So I'll put that real exciting music back on. Well, maybe I won't, because I think somebody turned this off. There we go. 10 seconds. Get your answers in now. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start. So, for me, I don't really have any negative things up here. For me, you know, I'm pretty much happy with, you know, my weight the way I am right now. How I feel about myself, you know, I don't really feel like my weight is costing me anything, which is, you know, it's a good thing. That's really where you want to be. The reason I wrote all positive things here is because I hope, you know, in the future, if you go through this program, that you'll be able to fill this top thing up with nothing but positive things, and you won't have any negative things to write here. Your weight, your health, your lifestyle won't be costing you anything. So, you know, I wrote that, like I said, I'm pretty happy with my weight. I feel like my lifestyle is pretty healthy. You know, I don't feel bad when I eat. I don't feel bad about the way I eat. I don't feel like I have to sacrifice if I want to eat something later in the day. You know, I'm really happy with the way I eat. The only negative thing it might be costing me is that I like to eat out a little bit too much, so it gets kind of expensive. But even then, it's nice to know that I can go out and enjoy what I like to eat and not have to feel guilty about it afterwards. So I'd like to share a couple things. Maybe you guys can tell me what you think your weight or your lifestyle might be costing you. Would anybody like to start? Sure.
I'm really kind of okay with my weight, even though I'm overweight, and I don't really mind how I look and in terms of weight. And I exercise, I live a healthy lifestyle, but according to my doctor, I have pre-diabetes.
Okay.
So I guess the almost 190 that I weigh is costing me possibly quite a few medical bills in the future if I were to continue. Like, I exercise in the summer and I've laid back. Like, I dance and I do pull stuff, but I've laid back, so I need to pick up the exercise and I need to lose some weight.
Okay, great, yeah. I appreciate you sharing that with me, and definitely, you know, health. It's good that it sounds like you're very active and you really take care of yourself, and sometimes it can just be about going that extra step or really educating yourself on what you might need to do to prevent, you know, future health problems. So I appreciate you sharing that with me. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about? Sure.
I don't feel like I have a lot of weight to lose or anything, but because of some of my dietary choices, I have a lot of like sugar of highs and lows, so it ends up causing like fatigue throughout the day, on and off, and then it creates a lot of moodiness, and that affects my family and people I interact with throughout the day. So that's probably my eating habits, how they affect my life.
All right. Well, again, thank you for sharing that with me. And yeah, that's a big part of it. It's not, you know, it's not always all about weight. A lot of times weight's in the back of our mind. It's what we think about when we look at ourselves. But, you know, a lot of times it can be just how you feel when you eat certain things, you know, how the food affects you, or how your lifestyle is kind of affecting your work and all these things. So you may not feel like you need to lose any weight or do this better, but there is, you know, when all of us, there is a lot of times the way our eating habits and our lifestyle affect us in these different ways, definitely. Anybody else? Sure.
Well, I'm not happy with my weight, unlike these ladies, and I'd like to lose some weight, and it's primarily health concerns.
Okay.
I had a little event a year and a half ago, and I've since lost 50 pounds.
Great.
But over the holidays, it's starting to come back on. I'm a little tired of Jenny Craig.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for sharing. Yeah, yeah, health problems is a big part of it. And the programs like Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers can work great for some people for a little while, but the problem is, again, they try to force you into a mold that everybody else really has to follow, and we're trying to make this really personalized to you. Okay? Anybody else? No? All right, well, just keep that paper with you, and we'll come back to it in a little bit. And again, thanks for sharing that with me. We're really trying to make a kind of a motivational atmosphere here. You know, we want to let everybody know that we're all kind of going through the same thing, whether your concerns are purely weight loss or purely health concerns, or purely just how you feel after you've eaten certain things. So now we're going to get a little bit more into what your personal experience has been with weight loss and weight gain. Have you tried before maybe and failed? It didn't work out so well. You lost some weight but you gained it back, and maybe you gained more back. Have you struggled to get started? I know sometimes it's tough to get started with weight loss and you just don't really know what to do, and there's all these different sources out here and you just don't know which one's going to work, and so you just don't even really do it. Is it your first time trying to lose weight? Maybe you've never really felt like you needed to lose weight before, or maybe you've never felt like you needed to change your eating habits or your lifestyle, and you're starting to slowly realize that, yeah, I do need to make a change, because if I don't, either I'm going to have health problems down the road, or it's going to keep affecting my job, or whatever the reason might be. And again, this goes back to, you know, why you're here. So these personal experiences you've had up to this point that brought you here. Obviously, you were interested, and that's the reason you're here. So we're trying to define the problem. We're trying to define your personal problem. Why you either can't lose the weight, or why you feel like you're unhealthy, or why you feel like you're not happy with whatever aspect of your life is related to, you know, your fitness level and your eating habits and all that. So you really have to tell your story, and at least tell it to yourself. I'm going to tell you guys a little story about, you know, my struggles with weight gain and weight loss. Obviously, you probably came in here and you saw me and you said, what the heck does this guy know about weight loss and struggling with weight? I mean, he looks like he weighs nothing. And I'll tell you, I've gained a significant amount of weight and lost a significant amount of weight twice in my life. And both times it happened, it changed, like I said before, it changed the way I felt about myself. It changed the way I was doing things, and I didn't even realize it. First time, I was just going into high school, which is when everybody wants to look their best. They're worried about this and that. And what happened was I was getting a summer job. I didn't have a car, so it had to be somewhere that was close by. Closest thing to me that I could walk to was Dairy Queen. So I said, all right, I'm working at Dairy Queen for the summer. I can't wait. So I'm working at Dairy Queen. Everything's going great. Summer's going by. And I remember it happened exactly like this. I woke up, and I looked in the mirror, and it was like all of a sudden I saw somebody different. I mean, I still had the same eyes, the same nose, the same hair, but my cheeks were out here, my love handles were out here, you know, butt was out here, stretch marks, the whole thing. It just seemed to happen overnight. You know, I couldn't believe it, but it was 3 months that I've been working at Dairy Queen now, and I stepped on the scale, and in 3 months I had gained 30 pounds. You know, that's a large amount of weight for somebody at that age, and it really kind of freaked me out, and it really started to make me self-conscious right away. I will say, though, it was the most delicious summer of my life. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, so I immediately started to become self-conscious, and these were the things that the weight or my lifestyle or whatever, that's what it was doing to me. I remember I didn't want to change in front of people at the gym, you know, at school in the gym, so I'd kind of go off to the corner or whatever, find a place to change. I remember going to the pool and being that guy who swims with his shirt on, because I didn't want people to see me without my shirt on. So it was changing the way I lived my life, and I didn't even really realize it at first, but now I do. Second time I gained weight, I was in college. Well, I was coming out of college. So I remember I went over to my wife's parents' house, typical Russian family. I was actually living, I think I was still living there at the time. I lived with my parents for about a year. Russian people love to eat. That's all I know. I remember coming home all the time, and all my wife's grandma knew how to say was eat and yes. So I'd come home, she'd give me a big plate of food, she'd say eat, and I'd say thanks, and she would say yes. And then I'd go upstairs and I'd eat this giant plate of food. But anyways, I stepped on the scale at my wife's parents' house, and I remember it said 225. And when I went into college, I was 175 pounds. So I gained 50 pounds from the time I started college to the time I graduated. And I couldn't believe it. My wife looked at it, And she said, Andrew, when did you gain 50 pounds? And I knew I'd gotten a little bit bigger. I didn't think I was 50 pounds bigger. And I said, honey, I'm pretty sure the scale is broken. This is a broken scale.
We all have broken
We'll
scales.
have to go get one later, and then I'll reweigh myself. But, I had really gained 50 pounds. I did get a new scale, and it said the same thing. And so, again, I had realized I'd gained all this weight, and I started to look at myself differently. And at that time, I was starting to kind of experience some of the health effects associated with, weight gain. I'd always had different things, heartburn and whatnot, and I noticed it had gotten worse as I was starting to gain weight. So I was starting to now feel the health effects of it, and I knew I had to make a change again, because if I didn't, then things were just going to get worse and worse. So those are my two experiences with weight gain, and I'll tell you about weight loss later. But I was hoping maybe we could share some experiences that you guys have had with weight loss and weight gain, or anything else you might want to talk about. Does anybody want to start? Sure.
Well, I had a thyroid
Mm-hmm.
crisis, and I was gaining a pound a day.
Okay.
And then I was hit by a truck,
Wow.
and they had me on cortisone, and I
Yeah.
was gaining weight. And they said to me, I was just beside myself gaining a pound a day. And the doctor said, oh, you could gain as much as 75 pounds. And I said, I'm not taking any more of this medicine,
Yeah.
And it's been hard getting back because you keep talking about reactions to food. And there are certain foods that if I eat them, I can barely make it to bed. They make me so tired.
Yeah.
So I sort of thought I may be allergic to them, or they're not agreeing with me.
Certainly.
And I have tried Jenny Craig in the past, and I've tried Weight Watchers. And right now I've gotten to my lowest point on my own.
Good. Great.
I watch Dr.
Congratulations.
Oz a lot.
Oh yeah, I love Dr. Oz. I wish I could watch him more. He's got a lot of good stuff on
Yeah.
there. Definitely. Yeah, and it's tough when you're put in a circumstance that you can't really control,
Mm-hmm.
like what you were in, and that can be really frustrating and debilitating, and really sap all your energy. And when you come out of it, it makes it even that much harder to try to go back. Definitely. Anybody else? Okay, that's all right. So, again, the point of, at least hopefully it got you thinking about, your personal experience with this sort of thing. Because we're trying to define the problem. We're trying to figure out why you're at your point and what have you done to get here and how you're going to change it. So I put this up here because I want to talk about body image, and this is a BMI scale. Don't worry so much about this stuff down here, but a body mass index is kind of a general guideline that the government uses. What I want you to think about is up here. This goes from underweight all the way to morbidly obese. And the reason I put this up here is I want to get you guys thinking again about how you feel about yourself when you get up and you look in the mirror, or you eat that thing that causes some problems, or you do that thing in your life that is not really wrong, or is wrong, and you feel bad about it, but you just you do it anyways because deep down, for whatever reason, it still kind of makes you feel good. So I want you to think about, again, where you're at and how you feel about yourself, because again, that's important in order to start the kind of journey to what you want to be. Okay, so, and again, on that sheet, I think the one you were writing on before, there's another question that says, how do you feel about yourself? What are you not happy with? So again, I want you guys to write down, maybe how you feel about yourself specifically, and some things you're not happy with specifically, whether it's just weight, the number that you see when you're on the scale, or maybe a particular area of your body, or maybe something you like to do, but it causes you problem. Write down anything like that. We're going to talk about that. So I'll put the music back on.
C-E-L-O.
L-L-U-L-I-T.
O-L-L, okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Thank you.
That could be one.
It's okay. No, I think you're right.
Okay, alright, so I'll start again. So how do I see myself? I see myself now as pretty healthy, pretty fit. I like the way I look. You know, when I try clothes on at the mall or whatever, I feel good about myself. I don't have any specific problems. I've got a lot more energy than I used to have. Even times when I felt like I was pretty healthy, now is probably when I've had the most energy I've ever had because of the way I live. So, you know, I'm not happy with anything as far as my physique and my energy level goes. There's other things that I could be happier with, but I'm pretty good as far as my health goes. And again, the reason I start is because I want you guys to be able to write, you know, all positive things here, not have any negative things. So, does anybody want to share with how they see themselves or what specific things they're not happy with that maybe they'd like to change? Anybody got anything right now? Sure.
I feel too big, uncomfortable in my clothes. I don't recognize myself in the mirror. Not happy with overall extra weight and how I feel. Not happy with lack of energy.
Okay, great. A couple things, definitely. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else? Sure.
I'm not happy about the cellulite on my legs.
Okay, that's definitely something that a lot of women struggle with, and that can be one that's really tough. You know, that really affects your self-image a lot. So that's a big one for a lot of women. Anybody else?
Seems like my eyes are getting smaller as I gain more weight to my face.
Okay.
My stomach's way too big.
Okay.
The clothes don't really fit right. Knees hurt, bunions hurt, joints sometimes hurt.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for sharing. And that's another one. You know, now we're talking more about like physical things. You're saying your knees are hurting, your joints are hurting. So now we're going beyond just kind of the what you see when you look in the mirror. Now we're getting more into health problems, and that's one that's a big deal for a lot of people. Definitely. Anybody else? Okay, well hopefully you guys are at least writing some things down so you're getting some ideas. So we're going to kind of get into some more fun stuff now, some weight loss myths, some of the things you guys have heard in the media that, you know, you think are true and they're not true, or you know deep down that they're not true but you keep telling yourself they are because they make you feel better about whatever negative aspect you have going on in your life as far as weight loss and weight gain. So one myth, if I just eat less and do more cardio, I'll lose weight, no problem. That's my, you know, some people think that's the way they're going to solve this. How many people have thought that if they just ate less food and went to the gym that they'd lose weight? I mean, yeah, a lot of people think that, and it's not that simple. You can't make it that simple, you know, and so that's definitely a myth. It's my genetics. Everybody in my family is big and slow with slow metabolism. Another one that goes along with this is my family has big bones. You know, we're all big bone. I don't know how many times I've heard that. And I think it's funny because I just think, yeah, so you're walking around with this giant skeleton with just a little extra stuff on top. So that's definitely a myth. Obviously, there are some genetic diseases out there, genetic predispositions, but really this is an excuse used by a lot of people, and there's very little truth to it. By exercising constantly, every day at higher and higher intensities, I can increase my metabolism and lose weight. How many people have thought that just going to the gym is going to cure their, you know, weight loss woes or how they feel about themselves. I mean, how many people think that going to the gym is the answer and that's it? You know, a lot of people have thought that in the past, and they learn that, again, that it's not as easy as that. That's a myth. I'll just buy no-fat or low-fat meals and have drinks with no calorie sweeteners, and then I'll lose weight. This is a big one for a lot of people, especially when they first start into weight loss. They think that they just decrease the fat and decrease the calories, and then they're going to lose all this weight. Well, the problem is, and I'll go on a little caveat here, the food industry really lies to you with all this no-fat and low-fat stuff. Because you see all these products out there, you don't really know who to trust because you're just getting bombarded with it from the media. It's out there all over the place. I remember I was in the store the other day, and I don't remember why I was exactly in the cereal aisle because I don't eat cereal, but I saw they're trying to fortify foods like Fruit Loops now with omega-3s. You know, putting omega-3s in the Fruit Loops. It doesn't make any sense. But for people who don't know, they see that and they think that's healthy. And healthy means weight loss or healthier appetite, so they think it's okay to eat these foods. And I laugh because I saw that and I'm just wondering, how are they putting these omega-3s in the Fruit Loops? And I just cartoonishly picture this guy in the factory like jamming omega-3s into Fruit Loops and then they shipping them out. So you can't trust the food industry, and we can talk about this all day, but really it comes down to the nutrients in the food. Your body needs nutrients, and these foods that they're trying to package as these healthy foods are really not healthy. My husband cuts out one thing, and he loses 20 pounds in a month, but it seems like I have to all but starve myself to lose weight. How many people think that it's easier for men to lose weight than women? Raise your hand. Okay. So I put this under the myth, and I know I'll probably get some flack for this, and I want to talk about it just a little bit. There is definitely a lot of truth to this, but the reason I put it under myths is because it gets used as an excuse, because we can change the differences between men and women and the way they lose weight, and really, as a woman, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to men and their ability to lose weight. You should be comparing yourself to other women, because then it's the same. Then there really is no excuse. And a lot of it has to do with things like hormones, the way men versus women store fat, and their metabolism. Those things are different. So I will say that in general, it usually is a little bit easier for women to lose, or for men to lose weight versus women. But the truth is that we can affect all these things, and we can even the playing field. So if you're not doing anything about it, then you're just using it as an excuse, and now it's becoming a myth. So why can't I lose weight and keep it off? So now we're kind of getting into the real reasons why people struggle with losing weight and keeping it off. Unknown hormonal imbalance. So I just talked about that a little bit. Sometimes people don't even realize that it is an unknown hormonal imbalance. You know, and a lot of it has to do with maybe the age you're at, and they can be affected by your food, the food you're eating, the medications. All these things can cause unknown hormonal imbalances. Environmental stressors, toxins, medications, different things that you take in from the environment. These are going to cause blocks in your ability to lose weight. They're going to cause blocks at the cellular level. Emotional and psychological needs. This is a big one. A lot of people attach emotional and psychological things to food. An example of this is somebody who eats when they're upset, or a stress eater, or an upset eater. There's different names for it. And some people don't even realize they do this. We all have habits we fall into when we're upset or we're stressed, and a lot of times they're associated with foods or other behaviors that are associated with unhealthy habits. Not exercising right or not at all. Hopefully all of you realize that exercise or some form of exercise is important, and I'm just going to say in the program what we really talk about is exercising smarter, not harder. Unable to regulate appetite and cravings. This is another big one. Obviously when people think about appetite, a lot of things come to mind, and especially one of them is willpower. A lot of people think that their appetite is all associated with willpower, and if they had more willpower, they'd be able to resist these cravings, or be better about their appetite, or this or that. And I'm here to tell you that it's not your fault. Your willpower is not always your fault, because a lot of things go into appetite. Appetite, again, is more associated with hormones, the foods you're eating, So are cravings. These things are all related. Worrying too much about decreasing fat and calories. This is what a lot of people run into when they first start a diet. They get really caught up in just trying to decrease the fat and just trying to decrease the calories, and they're trying to count calories and all this, and it becomes too confusing or too hard to keep up with. So, you know, the diet fails, or whatever they're trying to do, it fails, and then they just kind of go back to the way it was before. Not in the right place mentally. Again, this goes back to the emotional and psychological needs. So you have to be in the right place mentally when you're making a change in your life. I mean, a lot of times when you're trying to lose weight, it's not just a diet or a weight loss program. It's really a life-changing program, and that's what our program is all about. It's about changing the way you do things in your life, not just losing weight. So what can we do? So now we're talking specifically about what can we do and what we're going to do in the program. So we have to address 5 key areas when trying to lose weight and maintain weight loss. These 5 key areas have to be addressed together, because if we try to do them separately, then it becomes much harder. So we've got metabolism, appetite, mentality, hormones, and fitness. So I touched on a lot of these already. If you don't know what metabolism is how you take in energy, you take in fuel, how you process your food. We all have different metabolisms, okay? So your metabolism plays a big part in all this. And we can affect your metabolism. We can change your metabolism, we can speed it up, we can make it better, and we're going to do that in the program. Appetite. I already talked about appetite a little bit. We've got to be able to affect the appetite, change your appetite, and we can do that through affecting the hormones associated with appetite. Mentality, again, you've got to have a strong mentality. You're doing anything that changes what you do in your life a little bit. Everybody has an aversion to change, but the most important thing to have in mind is that you like the change, that you're okay with the change, and it's a choice that you make. So like I said in the beginning, if you feel like you're forced to do something, or you're starving, or you're sacrificing, you're not going to want to keep up with the program. Fitness, again, I'll say it's important. You want to work out smarter, though, not harder, and I'm going to talk about that more in a little bit. So if we can make a lasting change in these 5 simple key areas, anyone can really become a better, healthier version of themselves. But we have to change what we believe, and this comes back to the education. So I've kind of gone into a little bit about what we're going to cover in the program. Now I'm going to talk to you about some of the facts. So this is the other side of the myths. So fact 1, skipping a meal to save calories and going up to 12 hours without a meal can decrease your metabolism up to 40%. That is a huge, huge difference. And I know everybody in here has skipped a meal because either they didn't have enough time. I mean, let's just see you raise a hand. How many people have skipped a meal for whatever reason? They didn't have enough time, or maybe they thought, you know, if I skip a meal, I can save some calories. My dad does this all the time. All right, every time he comes to my house, me and my wife's house, or we go to visit them, and we know we're going to have a big meal, he'll always skip breakfast or skip lunch, and he knows it's wrong. I tell him all the time, I'm like, Dad, you can't do this. My dad's a big guy. I talk to him about trying to treat your family is the worst thing you can do. It just doesn't work. But anyways, my dad does this all the time. And the reason he does it, and he knows it's wrong, but he still does it, is because it's become a habit for him. It's become easy because he's done it enough that it doesn't seem like a big deal to him. And that's what we'll talk about, and that's what we'll change in the program. We're going to change your habits, because when something becomes a habit, it becomes very easy to do. I mean, think about when you get up in the morning and you go to brush your teeth and drive down the street. You don't have to focus to do those things because they're habitual. They're easy. Big study, Women's Health Initiative, 50,000 women were put on a low-fat diet, and they came back 5-10 years later to check on average, they found they'd only lost 2.5 pounds. It's basically negligible. It's insignificant. We gain and lose 2.5 pounds throughout the day. So that just shows you that this whole low-fat diet craze, it really does nothing for people. You can't just decrease the fat and expect results. Regular consumption of diet soda increases waist size by 70% on average. 70%. That's like going from a 6 to a 12 or a 10 to a 16. I don't really know what that means. But you know, that's a big difference in size. And it really kind of goes back to the point I made before, is that all the stuff out in the food industry right now, they try to trick you with this low-calorie stuff, but all the studies out there are really showing that, you know, it doesn't help. I mean, how many people at one time thought that they were saving calories and doing better for themselves by drinking diet soda? I mean, I'm sure a few people have thought that. Individuals who use nutritional supplementation on a regular basis are, on average, way less than their counterparts. It's just simple fact. That's what the research shows. If you're the type of person who regularly supplements, you're going to weigh less and be more healthy than the person next to you. Last fact, I like to put this up here because it kind of highlights some of those diets you hear about on the TV. You know, you're up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you see the infomercial for the lose 30 pounds in 30 days diet, and you see the guy dancing around. You know, maybe it's like the Brazilian butt lift stuff and all that. I'm sure you guys have seen those things. But for an average overweight woman, they're saying 180 pounds. Basically, for her to lose 30 pounds in 30 days, she would have to stop eating for a month and ride a bike 5 miles a day for a month. All right, that's just the simple math and science behind it. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to stop eating for a month, and I certainly don't have time to ride a bike 5 hours a day. You know, this is unrealistic. All those diets out there are unrealistic. Some people get results, but I guarantee they're short-lived. You know, a few months later they're back to their original weight or they're above, because doing a crash diet like that puts your body under so much stress. It puts you into a starvation mode. So any sort of weight loss program or lifestyle changing program has to be something that you can maintain and that you're happy with, or you're never going to be able to do it. So we're creating new alternatives through the program, right? We have to change the way we do things, because the reason you're here now, and sometimes it is out of your control, but a lot of times the reason you're here now is because of the certain lifestyle you lead. And we have to give you healthier, new alternatives. We have to give you new empowering thoughts, beliefs, and habits. And all these have to be based on factual evidence, because if we're trying to just pull something from somewhere, you know, it's not based on anything. When we design this program, it's based around science, it's based around facts. That's why we know it'll work. And it's personalized, which is a huge part of it. From this, we can create goals, okay? So you have to have a goal going forward. And hopefully, it's a little bit more at this point than just a specific number that you're looking for. All right, we're trying to make the impossible possible, really. So some people wake up in the morning and they think, you know, I'm never going to get back to a certain number, or I'm never going to be as skinny as I want to be, or I'm never going to have the same amount of energy as I used to. They think it's impossible, but I'm telling you that, you know, through the science and through the program, we can make these impossible things seem possible. So this is really it. This is the program now, right? So we're getting into the meat and potatoes, or maybe I should say the fruits and the vegetables. So it's 5 easy yet powerful choices. I'm going to say that again. 5, just 5, not 15 or 10 or 7. It's 5 easy yet powerful choices. Whole body expert analysis, total detox purification, coaching, education, and motivation, appetite and metabolism modification, exercising smarter, not harder. I'm going to touch on each of these briefly because I'm going to talk more about them in just a little bit. The whole body expert analysis, that's where we start. That's how we make the blueprint for your plan for getting and achieving your goals, because each of your plans, your paths are different. You know, his is going to be different than hers, and his is going to be different than hers. We can't force you all into the same mold and have you following the same steps, because it's not going to work like that. Total detox purification, this is going to jumpstart everything. This is going to increase the vitality. This is going to get you going. Coaching, education, motivation. It's like it sounds. This is where we're going to educate you. The big part of weight loss and attaining goals and being healthier is education. If you don't know what you're doing, how are you going to do it? You got to stay motivated. That's a big part of it too, and we try our best to create a motivational atmosphere, and that's a big part of the program. and coaching that goes along with the education and the motivation. Appetite and metabolism modification, like I said before, we're going to change your appetite, we're going to change your metabolism for the better, exercising smarter, not harder. The main point I want you to take away from that is I'm going to show you exactly how to exercise in a certain rate to where you're optimizing fat loss and you're not fatiguing yourself and you're not getting frustrated and you're not getting bored. But you have to choose this program, okay? You have to want to do it. You can't think, well, this is one more thing I'm going to try. Let's give it a shot. I don't know if it's going to work, whatever. You have to really believe that, you know, this is what's going to work for you, because if you go into a program, any program, whether it, you know, it's based all on the facts or whether it's not, if you go into it with a negative mindset, it's not going to work out for you in the end. You know, we're building this program just as much as you guys are building this program because, like I said, it's personalized. It's made for you. So we really have to change the keys, those 5 key areas that I was talking about before. And our choices are going to affect these key areas of weight loss, but we have to have the tools to change these areas, and that's the program. The program gives us the tools, gives you guys the tools. Success is going to breed success. Think about a time in your life when you were successful, whether it had to do with weight loss or, I don't know, something on the job, or it doesn't really matter. Think about those times. My guess is it wasn't easy. You didn't just wake up in the morning and were like, oh, I'm successful, and you had $1,000 drop on your head. It doesn't happen like that. You do have to put a little work into it, but remember when you had that success, you probably wanted more. You were pretty excited, and you were like, this is great. I want to keep doing this. Creating avenues to success. So through the program, we create new alternatives, new avenues for you guys to achieve success and get excited about it and want to keep going. So really what we're doing is maybe restoring what you've lost. That goes back to when we talked about what your weight or your lifestyle felt like it was costing you, whether it was just simply peace of mind about how your health is going to be in the future. We're going to restore all those things that you've lost and want to do again. Redefining the unsolvable. That's what I was talking about when I said making the impossible possible. So it goes back to like when you wake up and you think, this is never going to work for me. I'm never going to be able to achieve what I want. I'm never going to be able to lose the weight. Well, we're going to give you ways to redefine these unsolvable things. We're going to make these unsolvable things seem solvable. So we have to start by setting goals. So hopefully by now you've got a good idea of what we're going to be doing in the program, how it can help you, how it can help you achieve your goals. So now we have to set some goals. So I want you to take that piece of paper back out. The next line, it talks about setting goals. So whether it has to do specifically with losing a certain amount of weight or getting to a number or whatever, I want you to just write down a couple goals that you'd like to achieve, that you think you could achieve through the program or through changing your lifestyle. So I'm going to do that. You got 60 seconds. Alright, if you guys aren't done, keep writing. I'm going to share my goals. So, what are my goals? Because I'm constantly setting new goals for myself, because if you don't, you're going to achieve the one goal you set, and then what are you going to do? You're just going to be happy with where you are, and then you're just going to sit there? No, you need to keep setting new goals for yourself, because if you don't, you're going to get complacent, and you're going to fall back into the bad habits. So my new goal is to go rock climbing. I've done it once or twice, and I like it a lot, but I want to make it a regular part of my physical routine because I enjoy it. And once you find something that you enjoy, physical activity, it's much easier to do, and it can become a habit. I'm going to try to eat more fish. I eat pretty healthy, but I don't think I get enough omega-3s, and I want to decrease my chance for heart disease in the future because it runs in my family. So these are my goals. All right, so I'd like to share, like you guys to share a couple goals with me that you might have. Does anybody want to start? Goal sharing. Sure.
You know, getting enough sleep is important because when I'm tired, I'll have a tendency to want to eat something.
Right.
And I'm one of those people that can be up at 2, 3 in the morning, you know, still doing a project or something, and I'm going to try to get a better balance.
Yeah, okay, definitely. Anybody else maybe have troubles with sleep or any other goal that they have in mind, something they'd like to achieve, whether it's specifically related to this program or not? Nobody sets any goals? Sure.
I'd like to make my doctor smile and get my cholesterol down to 80.
Yeah, that's the one. I think a lot of people, they'd like to see their doctor smile and go, how did you do this? I can't believe it, you know. Because you want to feel like you can prove somebody wrong, or at least maybe prove yourself wrong if you've been telling yourself these negative things all the time. Anybody else? Okay, that's all right. Well, hopefully you guys at least wrote down a couple goals or have something in mind. So once a goal is set, obviously we have to be able to maintain it. So the big part about this program is that it's personalized, so that it's something you agree on, you're happy with, and you know that you can maintain it because you chose this. And you agreed that this is something you'd be able to do, you know, for the rest of your life, basically, and that you're not going to just achieve the goal and then fall back into your habits that kind of got you to this point here. And really, I hope by now some of you have gotten past the idea of just having a number specifically in your head that you'd like to see on the scale, and maybe you realize that your goal really needs to be a different way of living. Because if you think about it right now, if you say, okay, I'm here, I'm at point A, and then you imagine where you want to be at point B, and you don't imagine your life changing to get there, then how do you think it's going to happen? I mean, and it has to stay that way, or else you're going to end up back at point A. So I'd like to share my success story about, I told you I gained weight twice and I've lost it twice, so I'd like to tell you what I did to get there, because I think success stories are important and they can be motivating. So the first time I went to lose the weight, it was the following summer, so I guess I was a sophomore or junior. And I realized, you know, I didn't have a lot of education then, but I knew I had to do things differently, and I knew I couldn't just do one thing and have it work. So I changed my eating habits. I changed the way I did, you know, some of my physical fitness. I changed multiple parts of my life. It wasn't just one thing. The same thing again when I was in college, and at that time it was a little bit more serious because, you know, I knew that I was kind of at that point in my life where I could easily keep going down this unhealthy road and, you know, end up a lot worse. So I knew the changes I had to make at that time had to be maintainable. So I had to really set up a goal and set up a plan that I knew I could keep going, and that I wasn't just trying to get somewhere and then just kind of relax and not really worry about it. So each time I had to change all the parts of my life, really, the way I ate, my physical activity, all these different things, and I wouldn't, you know, go back and say, if I had the chance to never have gained weight, I wouldn't do that, because going through those experiences have gotten me to where I am now. I'm much more happy, I'm much more educated about, you know, my way of life and how I'm doing things, and if I wouldn't have gained that weight before, I wouldn't know these things. And obviously going to, you know, chiropractic school helps a little bit. So, but does anybody have a success story they'd like to share? Maybe whether it's associated with weight or healthy living, or any time they felt like they were really successful. Does anybody have anything in their mind right now they'd like to talk about? No significant success stories? Alright, that's okay. Hopefully you've had at least a few times where you know that you've been successful, so you can kind of think about how that felt and go back to that when it's when it comes to really trying to motivate yourself to move forward with a healthier lifestyle. So now we're getting into the program itself. I'm sure you guys have probably been thinking, well, you know, what's this going to cost me, or what's all going on with this program? So, first part of the program, the initial examination. This is the whole body expert analysis I was talking about. All right. In this whole body expert analysis, it's a comprehensive examination to identify your specific weight loss blockers. Like I said, this is where we go through. We make the blueprint for your weight loss plan, because everybody else is different, and we have to personalize it. We're going to find out exactly what it is, or what may be keeping you from losing weight. okay, your specific blockers. You're not all getting forced into one mold, following all the same steps. We're going to analyze the physical, emotional, chemical, mental, all aspects of this to really figure out what your lifestyle blockers, your weight loss blockers, all these things. We're going to figure out what you need to do to get from point A to point B and accomplish your goals. The purification program. This is a standard process purification program. This is what I said is going to jumpstart your metabolism. This is going to remove those chemical and cellular weight loss blockers. It's going to fix all the physiology stuff, and it's going to really give you a jump start at the beginning of this program, increase your energy and your vitality, and really get you going. It's a whole food purification program, so what that means is we're not going to have you drinking lemon juice and sucking down honey for 2 weeks and feeling like you're going crazy and sacrificing all this food and starving. You're going to be getting all the nutrients that you need. Alright, so you're not going to feel like that you're not getting enough food. And you're going to have a lot more energy, and it's going to improve your digestion, which is important for the way that you process, all the food that you bring in, you process the fats. It's going to optimize your digestion and get you ready for going forward with the weight loss program. 8 treatments. The treatments that we do utilize the tools that we regularly use in the chiropractic clinic. When you're going through this program, you guys are basically, you're like patients to me. Your outcome, your decrease in weight, or your achieving your goals, whatever it is, it's the same as if you were coming in for like a bad back or a headache or whatever. I'm trying to help you improve your life, really. So we're using similar tools that we use in the clinic. Acupuncture, adjustments. These things are going to be what enables us to change your appetite, to modulate your metabolism. We're going to make the cellular and chemical changes through these things as well. 5 group seminars. Alright, so this is where we kind of get into a little bit of what you might have seen in like the, I don't know if Jenny Craig does the group seminars, I think they do sometimes, but the Weight Watchers, those are successful for a lot of people because they create that group mentality, which the research has shown that when you're doing something, a plan like this in a group, it is more successful than versus trying to do it on your own. It also creates an accountability, right? So you get held accountable for how you're doing. So, and also during these group seminars, we're going to educate you, and we're going to motivate you, and we're going to help you get through the program as a group. Personalized exercise program. This is the working out smarter, not harder. Like I said, I'm going to show you how to work out at a heart rate zone that is going to increase or optimize fat burning. You're not going to get tired. You're not going to get sick of it. We're going to give you tons of different options, tons of different ideas. I'm really going to design a weight loss, or an exercise program, and a weight loss program, and a life-changing program. Really, it's all those things. I'm going to design it specifically around your needs. This is a super personalized program. I guarantee there is no other program out there that it is as personalized as this. 9 dietary analysis. So these are when we see how you're doing. You meet one-on-one a lot with me in this program. Beyond those 5 group seminars, we're meeting one-on-one a lot. So regular analysis to determine your progress in the program, to see if we need to change the exercises you're doing, or change the supplements, or change your food around, whatever. This is when we do that, during these 9 dietary analysis. And this is what really keeps things fresh and keeps the program from becoming stagnant and feeling like you're doing the same thing day in and day out. So all these together come out to $1,416.
I have some questions
Sure.
on that, can I? Does the insurance part pay any part of that? Like, I would think maybe purification, 8 treatments, that might be covered by insurance if it's acupuncture.
Depending on
Excuse
the, depending on your specific insurance, this is something I was gonna talk about in just a bit, but, really, we can't get into it fully here. It kinda depends on, it's a case-by-case basis thing,
Okay,
so,
and I have another question.
sure.
Can we do like a part of this program, like I would be super interested in that exercise program, but I have a naturopath and a chiropractor that works with me on some of these things.
Sure. We didn't really design the program to be done in pieces, and again, it goes back to, it's a fully integrated program. You know, when you do bits and pieces of things, it doesn't work out as when we're doing the whole thing. So at this point, we're not breaking it up. It's all or one. You know, it's all or nothing basically.
And are you saying on the 8 treatments you would be getting acupuncture or chiropractic or something like that?
Yeah, when we do the initial examination, the whole body expert analysis, that's when we determine what specifically your treatment is going to be, but you're pretty much going to always be getting the acupuncture because that's how we're going to modulate your metabolism and change your appetite. Among the other things that we do, these are going to be affecting those different things. That's how we change the physiology. Any other questions right now? Okay. So, again, $1,416. I know that sounds like a big sum of money, but I guarantee a lot of people in here, if you could write me a check right now for $1,416 and I could instantly make the changes that you want, you would do it because you know deep down that, you know, a healthy life is much more important than maybe, you know, money or monetary things. Because it comes down to, you know, the amount of work and the choices. People are afraid of the change, so if they can do it in an instant, they're always going to do it. But I'm telling you right now, we personalize this program so it's easy for you. It's simple because you're making the choices, you're agreeing to them, and you're not feeling like you're forced to do something. And because we know that this is so important for some people, this lifestyle change and how important it is for their health and their future and all this, that today we're offering for an investment of $750. So we're basically cutting the total cost in half. And beyond that, like I said, possible insurance acceptance on a case-by-case basis, but really the investment is $750 to change your life. I mean, that is really not much at all to really change the way you're doing things, to feel better about yourself, to feel happy about yourself. You know, to be happy every day and to be able to move on to a new set of problems is certainly worth it, just about any amount of money.
You're saying that if we sign up today it's $750 instead of $1,460?
Yes.
Okay.
Today it is $750 instead of $1,460. That is what I'm saying. That is your investment.
Okay. And how long does this program go?
The program itself, I'm glad you asked it, the program itself is a 3-month program. Okay, so the idea is that we'll start the program within roughly 2 weeks after tonight. How it's going to work is we have the initial investment of $750. You do the whole body expert analysis. We tell you, you know, this is what we're going to be doing. This is your plan, and then we get the group nights basically set up, and we start rolling through the program. We go forward from that point. Okay, so 3-month program starting within the next 2 weeks. Any questions about that? Want to make
I'm
sure
out of
that's
town for
clear.
a week in March.
Say that again?
I'm out of town for a week in March.
Sure, and we understand that, you know, people will go on vacation, and obviously we're going to do everything we can to, you know, accommodate that. And when we set up like the group schedule, we'll do everything we can to make sure everybody can meet and we can get them all on these same days where everybody can be here. And if you do have to be out of town, we'll work around that. You know, we'll do everything we can as far as
Will
that
it
goes.
be here, the meetings?
Yeah, the meetings will be here. Yes.
And I have one more. I'm like
Sure.
asking all the questions.
No, keep going.
I have a
figured it'd be-
girlfriend that was very interested in this, but she didn't come tonight.
Mhm.
If she were interested in doing it, could she get that rate too?
If she was interested in doing that, sure. Oh, do you have a question,
Yes,
Mike?
one misconception, this is the cost of the program, it's not just for tonight. This is a program that you can offer this to your friends, but you do have to buy the whole program to get that price.
Right.
Yes.
You have to
And
do the whole thing.
It is available for other people.
Okay.
Thank you for
Thank you.
clarifying that. Yeah, I don't know if I was explaining that 100% correctly. So excited. Go
The
ahead.
1460 is what it would be bit by bit, if you add it up, that's the real value
Sure.
of what it
She-
would cost.
She left, but unfortunately, you could do any part of this, and that would be the cost of it, individualized. But we're giving you a great incentive to do the whole thing and really make a commitment to yourself.
Yeah.
I
So
have
yeah,
another
if you.
question. What about food? I mean, what kind of food? Is it like just regular food?
You mean what?
Okay,
kind
I'm
of
a
food
Jenny
you can-
Craig person. I'm used to taking a little frozen dinner.
Yes. No, yeah, you're gonna be eating regular food. The whole part about the food, I'm gonna design the food plan around your specific needs. So you're not gonna be eating like little frozen meal packages, or we don't provide you with any food, is what I'm
Okay,
saying.
okay.
We basically show you what to eat based on your needs and to reach your goals. Any other questions right now while we're on here? Anybody not understand what these entail, or what the program entails, or what it can do? Any other questions? No. Like I said, insurance on a case-by-case basis, but that's something we'll talk about one-on-one. All right? And also, as a way of saying thanks for coming, since this is the first seminar, this is the first time we're doing this, we're doing a family discount, so second participant is only a $500 investment, and that's for the spouse or immediate family, so mother, son, brother, whatever, they can do it for $500. So for the both of you, that's an investment of only $1,250 to really change your life. Anybody have a question about that? So again, we're giving you guys a great value with this, and I guarantee you won't be able to find anything like this anywhere else. So, now that I've kind of explained everything in the program, the costs, gone through everything, I want to touch again on the healthy mindset. So, really, if you're considering doing this, you're not sure, you really want to do it, you're ready to go, I really have to stress the idea that you've really got to mentally think, and your ideal level of weight, energy, and vitality must become a state of mind before it can really be realized physically. And this comes down to visualization. And how many people have visualized or done a visualization exercise? You know what I'm talking about. So some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I visualize every day, at least a couple minutes. And when I do the visualization exercise, I'm thinking about my goals, things that I want to accomplish. Because the more you think something, the more it becomes a reality. If you wake up every day and you say, I'm always going to be this size, or I'm always going to be this unhealthy, or I hate my job, it's never going to get any better, that becomes your reality. It really does. Okay, so we have to change that reality through what we think. So we do visualization exercise. We're not going to do one in here, but I encourage you, and I believe in your folder, there's a piece of paper, and it's got a bunch of weight loss resources and life-changing resources, some websites for visualization and different things, and there's a couple things on there too. If you're going to start into the program, the top two ones, I believe it says MyNet Diary, and the other one is MyFitnessPal. These are some of the tools that we're also going to use to help track our progress, because it's important to track your progress. Sometimes that can be a little tedious, but you've got to know how you're doing. You've got to be able to chart your way from A to B. But through these visualization exercises, I'll get back to this, you're doing these things every day. So you're conditioning new behaviors, and via your conditioning people around you, you're creating a pattern through repetition. So you're creating habits. And like I said, and like you guys realize now, once something becomes a habit, it becomes very easy to do. It just comes naturally. So healthy living, healthy eating, whatever, it becomes a habit, and you can do it every day, and you don't even have to think about it. Again, you don't feel like you're sacrificing, you don't feel like you're starving, because it's a habit, and it's something you feel like you should be doing. So really, you're going to tie this into a higher purpose. This kind of brings it all back home again, why you're here. Hopefully you know now why you're here. You've got some goals. You know where you're starting, and you really know why it's important for you to change your life. Anytime you can attach a goal to a higher purpose, it becomes much easier to do, and it becomes much more important for you. So, why are you doing this? I hope you know that by now. Are you doing this simply for yourself, for your family, parent, spouse, child, pet, your career, your dreams, something you want to do. How can your life be better? I hope by now you realize how your life can be better after going through the program and getting, achieving those goals and getting to a healthier you. How can you contribute more? Ideally, I would see you guys going through this program and achieving your goals and living the way you want to live, and then now you're telling other people, not necessarily about us, but you're just telling other people about how you feel after you made the change. Now you're inspiring those people to make changes in their life. Because like I said, if I could do one thing in this world, if I could inspire a few people and they inspired some more people and it just branches out on and on, I think I would have really accomplished something by doing that. So you have to realize that you're going to become a superior version of yourself after this is all done. You're going to be able to live that way every day. You're going to be happier, healthier. Things are going to come easier to you that seemed hard before, and you're going to get to move on to a new set of problems. We're always going to have some problems in our lives. I'm sorry. Life is never going to be that easy. We're always going to have problems, but I hope you can move from one set of problems to a new set of problems as you go through life. And health and how you feel about yourself and your confidence and weight aren't the same problems you're dealing with for the rest of your life. And the last thing I want to end with really here is an affirmation. How many people know what an affirmation is? Daily affirmation. Okay. So again, I tell myself an affirmation every day, and the one I really like to use the most, I learned this from another guy, great speaker. His name's Dr. DeMartini. He said, if you want to accomplish all your goals in life and do what you want to do, you just got to tell yourself one thing. You say every day that I'm a genius and I apply my wisdom daily. So I say that every day, sometimes a couple times a day, or before I have to do something really difficult. Now, for this particular situation, I'd like for you guys to come up with your own affirmation, and you can take a little bit of what I came up with, and that is, I'm worthy and I deserve a healthy life. You can use that one, or you can come up with something on your own, but you should start doing a daily affirmation every day, and you should start doing a visualization exercise every day. Okay? Does anybody have any questions right now? Alright, so thank you guys for all coming. I really appreciate it. The last thing I want to say is that as a way to thank you again for coming, to the first seminar, that